After our very successful garage sale hunt, I couldn't wait to see what the estate sales had in store. So today we're going to be going to 3 very different ones, and we're going to be looking for timeless vintage decor for great prices. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I love to share the price comps and decorating inspo along the way. And then after each estate sale, we're going to bring home everything and style it all. So without further ado, let's head to estate sale number 1.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
Okay.
So our first stop was this lovely couple's home just a few neighborhoods away, and this was no ordinary estate sale. They had recently decided to combine households and move into one home together, which meant decades worth of furniture, decor, artwork, and everyday treasures had to find a new home.
It's too much work, that's right. Good morning.
These brass candlesticks were actually the very first thing I noticed when I walked in. I've been looking for a pair like this ever since I passed one up at an antique flea market last year.
Good morning. That would be like $2 for the pair, you know. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, $2 is such an incredible deal. These usually go for much more online, and this was only the second pair I'd ever come across in person.
We're just silly money. We just need to get rid of it.
Oh, this is like a...
It's a jewelry box. You can't even buy those things anymore.
Now, this jewelry box in particular really stood out to me because of how massive it is. If you're someone like me with a lot of jewelry, this kind of thing is perfect, and it was only $5. I had a feeling there were still plenty more treasures waiting to be discovered, but I wasn't prepared for what I was about to find.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
The very first thing I noticed was this absolutely stunning brass rack, and I instantly fell in love. This is really pretty. It's a quilt rack. Vintage solid brass racks have become incredibly sought after over the last few years, with similar ones often selling for well over $100. And honestly, I probably would have even paid that, but she sold it to me for just $10. And speaking of brass, I was very tempted by these gorgeous cranes. They would make a beautiful statement piece for open shelving or even displayed on a console.
When he's out in the garage, you can ask.
Sure, I'll ask him.
As we continued through the house, it became clear that the homeowners had a real appreciation for traditional Chinese decor and antiques.
Oh my gosh, $25. And there's a match downstairs.
There's the exact same one.
Brand new, we just bought it.
I love this table. Now, I had to do a double take when I realized that this beautiful French provincial console table was for sale. Only $15, you guys. Basically free for a piece this size. I also found the exact same table listed for $1,200 on Kijiji. A really nice table. I was definitely making sure I found a spot for this at home. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, there was still an entire basement left to explore. Wow, and there's like a vintage stereo, or I don't know what that is, actually, but...
It's $25. It's $25. Nothing's ever been slept on. And here's the match to the thing.
Okay.
And this desk is
Oh, wow.
$50. Look at it.
That's
Very
gorgeous.
nice, yeah.
But get it out of here. This is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. Now, this beautiful vintage mahogany desk absolutely would have come home with us if we had the space for it. Not only did it have drop leaves for extra workspace, but my favorite feature was the false drawer facade on the back. This gives it the flexibility to be placed in the command position in the center of a home office, rather than being tucked up against a wall.
It's overwhelming, this leather inlay.
I've never even seen
No,
that.
you won't.
Really.
Now, since there was so much to see, we actually walked through the entire house a second time, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. I also picked up this beautiful footed bowl for just $2. My entire haul came to just $34, which honestly feels pretty close to free. Now, something I learned as soon as I got these home is that the little brass drip cups can actually be removed, so I thought I'd test that out for this first look. I've actually been slowly collecting vintage brass candle holders for quite some time now, and one of my favorite ways to style them is by creating one layered cohesive arrangement. I think the mix of different shapes and heights just brings out so much warmth and character, especially when paired with candles in varying tones. Now, these two definitely deserved their own little moment, and I'm absolutely loving how they look here on my coffee table. Okay, moving on to this gorgeous antique brass blanket rack, and this is arguably one of my favorite finds from the entire haul. I love how it has this lower profile, which makes it perfect for tucking beside a couch or even at the end of a bed. It's also incredibly sturdy, so I knew it would be perfect for displaying my thicker quilts. I've mostly been keeping these guys out on display since they're a little awkward to store, but this rack is the perfect solution. And this is where I really wish I had two of these racks because it looks just as beautiful in the bathroom. Funny enough, we don't currently have a towel bar, but since we're planning to renovate, we haven't replaced it yet. In the meantime, this is such a beautiful and functional alternative. Now, I already have a spot for my everyday jewelry, but I've never really had a dedicated place for all of my fancier pieces. I've been on the hunt for something like this for quite some time now. Now every piece finally has its own place. Larger jewelry boxes like this are such a charming addition to a wardrobe. Not only do they add practical storage, but I think they also just make the space feel a little bit more luxurious. Okay, I just have to say, I'm still pinching myself over this massive console table. I honestly still can't believe it was only $15. It did have a few small scuffs here and there, but after giving it a good coat of conditioning oil, they were hardly noticeable. Now, I'll admit, placing it in our bay window was a bit of a gamble, but thankfully it fits here perfectly. And one of my favorite things about a longer console table like this is that it gives the larger decor pieces room to breathe. Since this area gets the most natural light, I'm using primarily glass pieces to keep everything feeling light, airy, and reflective.
Wake up, feel the motion, let it shine across your skin. Step out.
And to finish off this look, I added the little brass-footed bowl right in the center.
Days begin. Anytime love is near, hold me close, keep me here.
There will be one person per floor and a floater.
Now this next one was a completely different type of estate sale. Unlike the last one, which was run by the sellers, this one was run by a professional estate sale company, which often means larger crowds, higher prices, and a very different shopping experience.
Calling out numbers, so 637, we're good to go.
Up to 655.
Oh, that's me, yay. Now, I only left with a couple things from this one, but it's really about the whole experience for me and more about getting inspiration. This kind of estate sale is also a fantastic place to shop if you're looking to invest in a high quality antique or statement piece. And speaking of statement piece, I was immediately drawn to these beautiful Empire chairs. I think the look of the carved wood paired with the leather upholstery is just so timeless. I can easily picture these as accent chairs in a living room or even as host chairs at a dining table. And for $250 each, I'd actually say these were priced quite competitively when compared with similar pieces online. Sometimes it's just about finding those unique and quality pieces for a fair price.
The kitchen itself is also for sale.
Another thing I love about these estate sales is you really get a sense of people's style and taste. You can learn so much about a person just by simply walking through their home and seeing the pieces they've collected over the years.
Also, if anyone is interested in jewelry, we do have like silver jewelry that's available upon request.
I also loved the rich colors in this hand-knotted rug. It actually reminds me of the one that Pottery Barn has right now for over $1,000. Now, I'm not in the market for a rug, but $300 is a very fair price considering these rugs are made to last generations. Now, it was a little hard to film because there were so many people browsing, but I did manage to leave with this beautiful hardcover book for only $3, which I thought was a great little find. And finally, on the way out, I noticed this small pile of vent covers for only $1 each. Now, there was only one, but I was definitely not passing up this beautiful vintage gold one. It just has so much more warmth and character compared to our standard ones at home, and these decorative vent covers can be pretty pricey. Now, I originally had hoped this would go in our powder room, but unfortunately it ended up being just a little too big. Luckily, our upstairs bathroom has slightly larger vents, so it ended up fitting perfectly there instead. Until we're ready to renovate this bathroom, little updates like this really add so much character and make the space feel just a little more polished.
Are you taking the 4 or the 5?
All the 5. Now, this last estate sale has to be one of my favorites of this entire year. Arriving early was absolutely essential, and I was lucky enough to be one of the first people there. Now, before I even got into the house, I noticed they were putting out an entire tarp full of free items, including a ton of Christmas stuff. Gift wrap is something I always like to stock up on, especially at places like this, because it can start adding up during the holidays. Lots of these ornaments were glass too, which is perfect for my vintage Christmas theme this year. Needless to say, I ended up making a quick trip back to the car before I even started shopping. Now, if you've ever admired the Ralph Lauren aesthetic, you'll probably be just as drawn to this as I was. Equestrian artwork is one of the style's defining elements, and in my opinion, it's a look that never really goes out of trend. Not only was this a beautiful original oil painting signed by the artist, it turned out to be part of a complete 5-piece equestrian collection. I couldn't believe they were only asking $60 for the entire set. These were definitely coming home with me.
For 4. Are you taking the 4 or the 5?
All the 5.
Sold.
Oh, I love them. I used to horseback ride when I was younger, so... And the sellers were kind enough to put them aside so I could keep
Are
browsing.
you still shopping?
Yes.
Feel free to come back and you can square it up at the end.
Okay,
so we
sounds
can just
good.
keep adding. And...
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Okay. So I think.
I know those are.
Okay.
We always have a curiosity to see.
Perfect. I'm just putting so in case someone else walks in and starts making through stuff. Did you see all the other photo cards upstairs too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also thought about these Crocs since I've been looking for some with handles, but I wasn't quite ready to commit to the price.
Don't be so modest.
Your prices on your stuff's pretty good.
So I have Jean to thank for that. She has the Pro AI, and so it gave us a bulk range. It told us, it helped us find missing pieces. Wait. Yours.
And just like the first estate sale, there was even more waiting in the basement.
How do you think I felt for the last week sorting this stuff? Is this yours or a neighbor's? Oh. Yeah, so the neighbor partner passed away. Okay. And then the neighbor had to move into some assisted living, yeah. Okay.
Now, I really thought long and hard about this marble table. Something this size would be so perfect for pairing next to an accent chair, beside a sofa, or even definitely needed a little bit of TLC to make it fully functional again, but otherwise, it's a really stunning piece. Unfortunately, we just don't have a spot for it, but I'm sure someone else is enjoying it in their home as we speak. Now at first, I wasn't quite sure what this was, but there was just something about it that felt so nostalgic, and it instantly made me think of a vintage Christmas. After looking it up, it turns out it's actually a musical liquor decanter and likely dates back to the 1950s. It didn't have a price, but the sellers were kind enough to include it in the 5 items for $1 deal, along with these cute little amber shot glasses. I can't wait to put this out at Christmas this year. How pretty would it look with little fairy lights? So I didn't end up getting anything else that day, but one thing I've learned over the years is that if an estate sale is running for multiple days, it's often worth a second visit before everything is packed up. When we went back a week later, everything that was left had been moved into the garage, with most items marked down significantly. This beautiful vintage pitcher was originally priced at $50, and it was now sitting on the $5 table. And lots of the other items, like the Crocs, weren't priced at all.
I might do some errands. How about yours?
Would you take $5 for these 3 items? Okay. So it's safe to say this second visit paid off. I also ended up grabbing this lovely ornate oil painting for just $5, which I hadn't even noticed on the first day. In total, my entire haul from this estate sale only cost $71, which is such an incredible value. So I'm saving this fantastic oil painting for Christmas, but I couldn't wait to showcase a couple of the smaller prints. I always enjoy switching out my artwork with the seasons, and these two felt like the perfect transition into fall. I think they work so well here. The rich wood tones really bring that extra layer of warmth to the space and just make everything feel a little more cohesive. Now 2 of these I'm going to gift to a friend, but since this one doesn't have any writing, I thought it would make the sweetest little bud vase. And speaking of bud vases, I also couldn't resist this little vintage milk jug. I just popped it on my stove for now, but these guys are so versatile and they can go just about anywhere. Now, as soon as I saw this beautiful ornate oil painting, I was so excited. I've actually gotten really lucky with a few others that I showed you in my last video, so now I have this little collection going. I thought this one was the perfect size for the little wall outside our powder room, and I especially love how it ties in with the other painting just around the corner. Together, they create such a pretty little moment as you look into the space. It also makes a lovely addition to my living room gallery corner. Let me know which spot you think should be its home. And lastly, I am so happy I was able to get these Crocs at such a discount, and I especially love the unique stamp on this one. I decided to display them in the dining room just to bring in some of that richness and a little bit of vintage charm. Plus, I also think they pair really nicely with the rest of the shelf items. Well, I'd say these 3 estate sales were quite the success. Let me know which find was your favorite, or if maybe there's something I missed. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.